wrestling fan of Wrestling Sean, the big beefy boy, Shaz Beef, and today I'm joined by my fellow old buck in Morro.
What's with this, Shane?
I don't know why it's so
You're
big.
taking the piss. You've done this deliberately.
I don't know.
You've done this deliberately. I look small now.
Well, you just sit up tall. I like your hat, man.
Thanks, yeah. I like your hat, man.
Thanks very much.
Cool,
I got this done down in Hennessy Sports.
Oh, did you? Yeah,
There's a nice proprietor. That's the word.
Yeah.
We're keeping well anyway.
Not too bad.
I didn't get to do a lot of clips.
Yeah, but
I did clip
you fucking clickbaited the shit on me again.
Well, like it's just I didn't cut anything from what you said.
No,
I just
said Kenny Omega has a candidate to be on the GOAT list.
No, you say Kenny Omega is a candidate to be named the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
All right.
He's a candidate to be on. Yeah, sure. He is a candidate.
I just think it's mad the way you did that and then said like the Undertaker's overrated.
The Undertaker is overrated.
Right, and so I didn't get a lot of clips done. I was doing a lot of stuff for OTT.
Yeah.
Big weekend coming up, Summer Bash. It'll probably have been done by the time you see this. Hopefully I'll be able to walk.
Yeah, hopefully you will.
By the time you see this as well.
Would you say that you have some vendettas?
Did you get it? Because of the hat. If you're only listening, we're pointing at our hats. It says Vendetta on it. But yeah, it's going to be a big weekend for Irish wrestling.
I'm going.
You're going?
I'm going to be in the crowd.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll be in the crowd.
It's mad. Me and Kieran were in the crowd for the local Rumble in that same venue.
Yeah.
And now we're doing commentary. Like a year and a half later for the promotion. And then,
funny.
You know, our friend Frankie getting involved as well, like in terms of a match. But some fun stuff planned. But the Wrestling Fan Wrestling, so I felt like we put in a good slog, even though this
weekend. We put in a big slog last weekend.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like a slog though.
No, like Friday, the podcast went up. Saturday, we did the watch along, and then All Elite Morro on the Sunday. Now, All Elite Morro this Sunday has been pushed to Monday.
Yeah.
Because you're having a few birthdays.
I've got pints to drink for the Kilkenny Tipperary match.
Right. Well, look, the reason why I went with the topic that we've gone with today, and it won't be a spoiler because you clicked on it, but it's kind of, it falls into the conversation that we had a few podcasts ago where, of course, you mentioned that The Undertaker's overrated.
Correct.
And you also put Andre the Giant, say,
above Randy.
Above Randy, yeah. And your kind of argument is like Andre in his pomp was fairly solid. Like, and I want to get to some of the listener interaction first, and it might be
you put out a post for this, did you? I seen that actually. Yeah.
But
I used to respond to those because at the time nobody would respond.
Yeah, but we got a good few.
But now I don't need to respond because we have actual like committed listeners.
Yeah, well,
shout out to the committed listeners.
What I want to do is shout out to you. That like really appreciate people watching.
Get over because we had good numbers on the watch along on Saturday. Yeah. And I was like, this is going to kill All Elite Morro on the Sunday. Nobody
but people you got a lot of people and people tuning in to hear your
and
nonsense.
Loads of interactions. Like it actually, the interactions were unbelievable. It made it kind of
it's fun, isn't it?
It's so much more fun. Think of how quick that 3-hour watch along went by. It was made watching WWE way more enjoyable.
Yeah. Now I will say, we didn't really do a play-by-play on it.
No, but sure, that's impossible.
Yeah,
we were just chatting with the audience, watching wrestling,
chatting, having fun. Maybe I might be used to get a good screen. But if you like those live ones, comment down below if you watched it, if you enjoyed it. Obviously, comments really help.
Yeah. Would you like to see us do All In next weekend?
Yeah, that might be a bit of a slog. That's a massive weekend.
Huge.
But speaking of massive, we're talking about the big men.
The big men.
Right. We put it into our own group chat first.
Yeah.
Johnny the Beast Mortos, he says, my thoughts are Bam Bam is the best. Then Vader. You should definitely discuss those two. And Dunphy said Yoko. And
we're the serious Yoko mark.
I'm a Yoko mark, but
I like Yoko.
He's a Luger mark as well.
He's a massive Luger mark.
Well, these are names that we're going to get into, but I want to get to listener interaction first. So Oisin McCarthy, Oisin.McCarthy.129, big follower of the page, as we know.
The two Oishins are legends.
Absolutely. Hot take. Undertaker, he says, best big man. His range of movement and technique have to be commended for his size.
We'll get into the Undertaker.
No, but let's touch upon that.
Yeah.
The stuff that he could do where, old school, no one's ever done that before. Yeah. The dive over the rope. Mike Awesome is commended for being able to do that kind of stuff, but the Undertaker, we just maybe take it for granted. Mm-hmm. The actual character in itself, the reinventions, the different like starting off as Zombie Taker, then Cult Taker, then the American Badass, then MMA Taker, and then
the worst Taker who had the best matches,
and then like the hybrid Taker that we got towards the end,
and then the old broken down Taker.
But that kind of that goes towards his range of movement, because obviously with that character evolving, so did like the way he presented it. So Zombie Taker had a very different style than the Taker that we
to Oshin's point, Undertaker's greatest strength is probably his versatility
and longevity.
Yeah,
but they had that longevity because of his versatility.
Yeah, exactly. But they did a great job of protecting his longevity as well by in the kind of latter third of his career, saving him for Mania and a couple of other spots.
When we say 30 years, like wholly active for so long, but like towards those latter years,
it was a few times a year in big spots. Yeah. But that that's not a criticism. That was the right thing to do.
But does this go to show? Maybe overexposure. Like Taker was able to pull out his best stuff because he was wrestling in particular spots, as opposed to on a random SmackDown or like on the because the road and the traveling, especially for a big man.
Yeah,
and I'm sure Taker got special accommodations, but he was traveling in a hearse with Paul Bearer towards the start.
Like they were on the road in that hearse.
That's class. But. Towards the latter end, he's able to rest up for 6 months before making a comeback and having a banger match. Is there an argument to be made for that? That instead of wrestling 4 or 5 times a week, you're able to save yourself,
and especially if you're like an agile big man, because like big man bodies break down quicker than most. Particularly if you're a hard working style, like Undertaker was an extremely hard working. He did a hard style for his size. And that the fact that he could take those breaks added to the longevity.
He took that bump off the ladder through the tables.
Insane.
Like was it an Armageddon or something?
I think it was Armageddon. Yeah.
Like just he's had some incredible moments. I think it would be hard to argue as one of the better big men, best big men in the industry, because everyone else that we're going to talk about had a shorter career.
Yeah.
And I'm
certainly
not saying
a shorter peak.
And I'm not saying because it was a longer career that it was better, but like we'll get into it anyway. I want to kind of go through. Jamie Keenan, he responded, Big Daddy V, not Mabel, not Viscera,
just Big Daddy V.
Yeah. Of course, the tits on that man was something to behold.
Yeah,
Nathan Frazier.
Mabel is disqualified for his Diesel match at SummerSlam,
and for breaking Undertaker's orbital bone. I've had a fractured orbital bone. It's not nice.
Not nice, no.
He was a sight to behold, though.
He was a sight to behold.
I hate him in ECW. Like Big Vis or like Viscera, the Ministry Viscera. That's probably the best incarnation. It's the best incarnation of him. He's with Midian. He's with the rest of the Ministry of Darkness. It's probably the best use of Viscera, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably. And it wasn't even that good.
R_N80s, I think that's Ron the Analyst. He says, Young Andre doing drop kicks is surreal. Bam Bam, Vader, Mike Awesome, Brody King.
Brody King is fucking deadly big.
I love Brody King, yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's a great call.
And like, I'm
not saying he's not the best big man ever.
I wouldn't even think of him as a big man. Like, what?
He's trained in lucha.
Yeah, like
that's his base training, like, which is fucking
size?
Nuts. Oh, he's a big dude.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll
big get his dimensions.
Big men. Do you throw in like muscle men in that? Is Brian Cage a big man?
No, he's like 5'4" or something.
Okay.
He's not. But
he's massive.
He's a beast. What about is Brock Lesnar a big man? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where do you draw the line?
I wouldn't class. He is a big man, but like maybe in the sense that we're talking about maybe body.
Yeah.
Like size. You know what I mean? Not the most necessarily athletic, or maybe just really tall. Brock Lesnar had a base of an athletic individual.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Like The Rock is 6'4" or 6'5". He's a big man by anybody's standards, but he's not a big man in wrestling.
In wrestling standards, yeah.
But even when you filter,
I suppose Brody's 6'5".
So, like, he's not.
Like, in wrestling standards, no.
But he wrestles like a big man, I
Yeah.
suppose. So
He has girth as well.
and like, especially in this generation, because, you know, people say it to me sometimes when I'm in training, they're like, oh, you know, you're a big guy.
When
so
I saw you in your gear,
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus, Shane's a big dude.
Yeah.
When you see in street clothes,
I'm wearing baggy stuff.
you're not. But when you're in the gear, I'm like, Shane looks huge compared to some of these guys.
Yeah, but like, that's what I'm saying. As maybe wrestling has gone on, size
It has morphed a bit. Like Brody King is.
size doesn't matter as much.
Yeah, like you go to Vince's WWE.
It was all big.
Everyone was 6'5". So The Rock, who's 6'5", was normal.
Yeah.
But in today's day and age, most wrestlers are 5'11", 6'2". So Brody comes across as 6'5".
The likes of Eddie and
Danielson,
Chris Jericho and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like even before
that, yeah. You go
Bret
back.
Hart.
Bret Hart is probably your Bret Hart's actually like 6'2", which is a big dude.
That's a big guy, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is
Like
he
you see,
6'2"?
yeah, I think he's 6'2".
So,
And Stone Cold was 6'2".
Lots of shouts. Evan O'Rafferty, Big Van Vader. He hit.
We're getting into Vader.
He hit like my monster moved like a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Hit like a monster, moved like a cruiserweight. I think that's what he was trying to say. But yeah, like, you know, the Vader salt. We'll get into him.
Vader sauce.
Neil GMC says Kane Earthquake may not be the best, but, and he just said but.
Earthquake is
John Tenta.
underrated.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he is.
We'll get into Earthquake. Bam Bam Bigelow. Like, there's a big shout. Bam Bam. He headlined WrestleMania 11, was able to do cartwheels.
Yeah.
You know, when he came in, everyone was vying for his like services as a manager. I really like Bam Bam, but once again, like his run was relatively short. You know, he had WWE, he had WCW, he had ECW. He fit a lot in.
His best run.
In ECW,
Probably.
Yeah. And like towards the latter end of WCW, like anything after say Mania 11, it kind of dropped down for him, unfortunately, in terms of
Spotlight.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash before 1998 when he started not working. I enjoy Kevin Nash in TNA.
Yeah, okay.
I will say that.
What about Kevin Nash 2011 CM Punk?
I'll let you keep talking. I'm doing my
Your checks, the camera checks.
to see if I press record.
I know. I don't think Kevin Nash can make a great big man list.
Vinny
A
Vegas,
good big man list, certainly.
Oz. What about Diesel?
Yeah, Diesel had a decent run, but also a completely shit run at the same time.
I'm throwing Dijak in the conversation. This is from the 5 Marks podcast. Not because he's the best, but because he'll get to that level. He's in the Skyscrapers tag team now with...
I don't think he will get to that level
Baron Corbin.
now.
Yeah, because you said something recently on the...
All Elite Morro, is it? On the live one last week.
Yeah, you were kind of like, oh, maybe it's starting to break down for him. I don't see that at all.
I think slightly he's just... Look, Dijak is in his 40s, and like... The Dijak 2017-18...
He's in his 40s, is he?
I think he is, yeah.
I don't like the way he's never really got a fair shake.
He never got the push when his body was... He didn't get pushed when he should have.
Yeah.
And now it's like... He's not as, in my opinion, athletic as he was, which is normal.
He's still busting out moonsaults and stuff.
Like he's still... Don't get me wrong. He's still an excellent professional wrestler. I don't think that. I just think that, unfortunately for him, he didn't get pushed when he could have been a superstar. And he didn't get pushed when he was at his athletic prime. Same with Keith Lee. There's another guy who could have been way bigger than he was and didn't get pushed in his athletic prime.
Declan Byrne. He's on X. We're even getting reactions on X now.
X! We used to never get reactions on X.
Hard to say, but Bam Bam Bigelow is up there. Never seen someone his size do a moonsault. He was class. Yokozuna would also be up there as another one of my favourite big man wrestlers. Thank Me Later, who just discovered the pod. He wrote on X. He said some really nice things.
Yeah, I know I don't know him personally, but
you know who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about. He was in the live stream, my All Elite Morro one on Sunday, and loads of interesting questions and deadly feedback. Great guy, knows what he's talking about too.
It's obvious, but Vader. My left field one, though, and this is going to make John Morton very happy, would be Scott Norton, because he never got the recognition he deserved on American soil. He could have been portrayed as a legit killer.
Great call.
And Andrew. Andrew is a massive old school wrestling aficionado on X. I think he's based in the States. But he says, depending on your criteria. And I think our criteria might be personal favourites.
Yeah, that's our criteria. It's very loose.
But he goes, it's either Stan Hansen or Big Van Vader.
I was going to bring up Stan Hansen as well.
Well,
I put him in that Scott Norton category of guys who can be kind of overlooked almost as being a big man, you know?
Well, what I'm shocked is there's no mention of Terry Gordy.
Fucking Terry Gordy.
Terry Gordy, I am in love with.
He was so good.
Like, just...
Both as a singles and tag team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I like Stan Hansen. I like watching him. I like Stan Hansen and Terry Gordy.
Yeah.
But, like, there's just something so magnetic about Terry Gordy.
Terry
and
Gordy
the way he had his matches.
I know, but he had like this quiet charisma.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't this.
And it was hard hitting. Like, his match with Misawa blew me away.
Yeah, and his tag matches with Stan Hansen against a variety of Misawa and Kobashi, or Misawa and insert partner here and Kobashi and insert partner here, are some of the greatest tag matches that have ever taken place in the history of wrestling.
Real Rabbit Master commented on the Undertaker Overrated podcast saying, just for the record, Undertaker is overrated and he gets a pass for it because people are marks and they fall for anything.
Who said that?
At Real Rabbit Master.
Real Rabbit Master's a real one.
Yeah, and I'm seeing all the comments here. It's just it's really nice to see.
Smash, when we were at this a year ago, like, we used to, like, if I wasn't coming on the podcast, if I wasn't around that week and you put up a post on social media, I'd have to respond to make sure that we got like 3 responses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now we're getting
a lot of people interacting, and we really
it makes it so much more enjoyable.
It was fun. Like, it's just a lot of lads talking wrestling. I was getting really concerned there lately that we were getting quite negative with stuff, and maybe that's because obviously the WWE thing.
Apparently, WWE has gone to shit this year. It's hard to be positive about a fairly shit product.
Like, I also don't like necessarily being negative, and I was just looking back over some of the stuff, and like the whole clip kind of nature of everything. You get responses from
people who are outside of our... I was thinking about this today. I was having this argument with a guy back and forth on the Kenny Omega one, right? No joke, 20-something comments back and forth. Yeah. And he just said, this Google says this, Google says that. And I'm like, you clearly don't know what you're talking about. And also, no offense, but like, he doesn't watch our podcast. Like, he just came across this clip and decided, I don't like Kenny Omega, I'm going to argue.
Yeah, but which is fine.
Totally fine. But also, like, the clips that go outside of our bubble can be a nightmare.
But that's what they're designed to do.
But
they're
also,
designed to
Thank You Later found us because of that.
Yeah.
But he's stuck with us and has become a really good, like, contributing member of the community, like, you know?
Like, they're there to garner interest. I pick out the most interesting clips that I think will get people debating. It's not necessarily like rage bait.
It's not rage bait.
But it's like...
if it was rage bait, I'd be saying things that I don't believe in order to drive it.
Exactly.
I'm just saying what I actually believe.
And I'm like, what you just said is so fucking dumb.
The world has to see this.
But like, I probably said dumb things too as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes like I get like... I'm going, am I stitching Morro up here too much? And then you tell me you love it.
I do love it. I love arguing on the internet.
Now you've just gone and created your own show on it.
Yeah. The All Elite Morro idea spawned off me arguing with people because it's very hard. I find it difficult to fully articulate myself at times.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to make a video in response to Nathan Hall's comments on
you should discuss
TikTok.
it on All Elite Morro.
Yeah,
tell him to tune in.
Yeah, I should
tune in on Monday night.
And we'll go through it.
Yeah,
because he's not like, some of the stuff he said is good stuff, but like, apparently,
it's not like this guy's dumb.
He's saying like he's coming up with, and his like reasoning and deduction isn't terrible, but he's just overlooking certain key things.
Right. Well, look, let's get back into today's topic.
Men.
Like big men.
Big men.
I do think it's insane that you can say something like Kenny Omega is the greatest of all time while also disregarding the Undertaker's work.
I don't disregard it. I said
he says overrated. And you call loads of his match shit.
He says a lot of shit matches.
Yeah, but like, that's 30 years. You know what I mean? So when we're talking about Bam Bigelow, we're going, Bam was great, and we're only remembering the great times because it's nostalgia when we were young. Obviously, he passed away way too early.
Yeah.
Cool stuff in ECW with Taz. You know, the WCW stuff, you can take or leave it. He was like wrestling in a t-shirt and, you know, the flames weren't there.
When he got to WCW, it wasn't the right time for him to be there.
Yeah, and he was in that faction with like Shane Douglas.
Terrible faction.
Yeah, it's just, but like when you say the things about the, like, is the Undertaker, in my opinion, the Undertaker is just, that's the argument. He is the best big man.
Here's my thesis on the Undertaker of why he's not the best big man. He's a great big man. He's one of the best. A big issue I have with the Undertaker is, and this probably isn't his fault, it's the style of WWE throughout that period, is when you look
What period? Because he's there for 30 years.
The whole Vince years.
That's like all of he has. That's all he's done.
His whole career.
But like, there's different. You have the new generation.
Let me
Like you have the
finish.
golden era, the new generation, the Attitude Era.
My point will make sense when I finish it out, right? When we look at the likes of Vader, Bam Bam, up to a point, a few others mentioned Stan Hansen, Terry Gordy, those kind of guys. They're big men who hit really, really hard, and the stuff looks super impactful. A lot of Undertaker stuff looks better, but for the size, it doesn't look super impactful. My favorite move of his is the big boot, because sometimes it looks like he legit takes the guy's head off.
Yeah, but like Vader's stuff was impactful because he was fucking punching him.
Deadly.
And that's not the art, though. But that's not the art of it.
But I don't
Like,
care.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. Like, if you go look at our Bray Wyatt documentary, like, I specifically reference Mick Foley as being like an inspiration of mine, and I remember seeing his matches with Vader when Vader legit punched
him in the head.
the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
I love that.
And Stan
I
Hansen
love
taking
that.
lads' heads
But
off with a
But
lariat.
like, how can you? Like, that isn't what wrestling is, though, is
but
it? Like, there's lay it in, and then there's punching someone in the fucking face.
I know, but also like Vader's UWFI run is like fucking unbelievable. Again, punching lads in the face. But like, here's a thing now, and where I think we've kind of lost a little bit of it. There is a certain part of wrestling worldwide community who would be of the Vince McMahon mindset, or
It is wrestling.
or Bret Hart mindset of chops are stupid because they actually hurt. And I understand that. But like, we put so much weight on that side of it, whereas there's a whole other world out there where it's like, let's fucking hit each other because
Strong style.
yeah. So like, it's a philosophical difference. Like, I don't think Brett is right when he says it, but I also don't think Brett is wrong.
I can
when
understand
he says
that you don't maybe enjoy Undertaker's like striking offense or whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, to disregard him for doing his job well, for not hurting people,
it. Yeah.
is a bit disingenuous. I suppose.
Disregarding him. Like, he is one of the best big men ever.
Okay.
And there's no way, like, 90% of people who we'd have this conversation with, I'm in the major minority, I would say.
I don't think you are, though. Like, if you showed anybody a Vader match, I remember being young, and the two tapes I had was Survivor Series 89 and the Great American Bash in 1990.
What was that match? Vader Sting.
No, Sting and Flair.
Sting and Flair, yeah. What was Vader's match on?
Vader was up against a gentleman known as Z-Man. But Vader came out in like the Mastodon helmet and stuff.
Full helmet.
And he's doing that, and the shit is like popping off it. Like, you compare that to who was also on the card, but under the guise of Mean Mark Callis, was the Undertaker.
Yeah.
And you see the presentation of Vader, and you're like, this is amazing.
Yes.
Like, as a young kid, you're not enthralled by Mean Mark. I think he's up against Lex Luger on the card, but you're enthralled by Big Van Vader.
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow. And even even say that Survivor Series 89, like the big men that was on the card, Zeus,
Earthquake.
Andre, Earthquake was in like his initial guys because he was with Dino Bravo.
Oh,
was the boss man there? Big boss man?
He was a good big
Like,
man.
big boss man. Like, I love his latter run.
His latter run to me is like...
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
But watching him move
in the
as
late 80s, early 90s.
Oh,
class.
like that
Class.
man can, like his match with Nails.
Yeah.
That is a really fun match.
That's actually a very fun match.
The way he hit the ropes, man, it was.
He was very unique, wasn't he?
But like, if you look at big men on that, Elegante is on that card as well. Like, if you look at the big men on those two, I know this is very specific to my upbringing, but fucking Vader, you're like, wow.
Yeah, like to me, like
Vader, Sting, Warrior, Hogan. They stand out. Jake the Snake, Roddy Piper. They obviously stand out, but because they're characters and they're colorful as a kid.
And like in the Undertaker's kind of, in his defense, like to play devil's advocate with my own argument, is he got great as he went along. And as he got a greater variety of opponents.
Well, like I think the character in itself was for what he was doing, what he needed to do in the early 90s, in the latter 90s, when he debuts as Survivor Series. He's the zombie taker. That's what he's doing, and he gets put against nearly all the big men that come through WWE.
Yeah,
and we went through those matches before. But like from a Mania perspective, but he goes against himself. That's Brian Lee.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Another big man, John Gonzalez, when he comes in. Shite. Like, we don't have to go through all of them, but like, he gets lumbered.
But also he has matches like the Kurt Angle one.
But he gets lumbered with the big men.
Yeah, like it's later on when he got to work with Shawn Michaels more, Foley even Kurt Angle later on. Right. To me, it was Foley. Although you could go to, I think it's 93. It was him and Bret in like this King of the Ring semi-final 93.
Taker and Bret.
Yeah.
Was it?
They had a match in 93 or 94. And
94, he was kind of pretty much gone for most of it because he ascends to heaven after Yoko.
It must have been 93 then. I remember a him and Bret match. And even watching it as a youngster, and Bret does the whole thing where he's, his corner, where Bret's on the outside doing figure four on the ring post.
Against Taker, I don't remember that.
It's in 90. I think it's 93. It was a TV match or something.
Okay,
and it was incredible. I remember, like as a kid, that was the best match I'd ever seen because it made so much sense to me. Bret attacking the knee, cutting down the big man, but Undertaker seemed to like work harder in like trapping Bret and super simple stuff.
I don't remember this.
I'll have to look it up. Maybe I could be a couple of years off here now because I'm remembering it as a kid,
Yeah.
But like,
I don't see where the two of them will go up against each other. But
to me, it's the Foley 96, 97 is where.
So,
but also, my thoughts on Foley is he's
one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
He is. And he's a big man too.
Yeah, but he looked like in a lot of his feuds he was a smaller guy. How about Big Show?
I'm going to get to him. Maybe we should start maybe a bit earlier.
Yeah.
So I want to pick you up on Big Cat Ernie Ladd, Gorilla Monsoon. These are all big men that are before our time.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Andre is kind of the first big man of our time.
Yeah, and even he's before my time.
Yeah,
really.
I suppose he's kind of even some ways. I got the very tail end of him.
Yeah, like I got Survivor Series 89 Andre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I haven't seen him in Sheehy Stadium.
Yeah. And a lot of the stuff we see now, like the Stampede stuff, and that is like just clips, like.
Yeah.
But I do think as well.
Where do you get the opinion that he's just because you can drop kick for the side?
No, that's actually I think one
of going by that metric, like the likes of Mark Jindrak and
but with Andre, for me, his greatest strength, even later in his career when he is visibly struggling, he had an ability to create tension out of very little.
Yeah, but that was the wrestling at the style at the time.
I know, but he was so good at the projecting tension.
He gets punched or gets rocked. You're waiting for the big man to fall.
Yeah.
You're like, but you don't do that in wrestling anymore.
No, but so a lot of that stuff won't hold up. But if you watch an Andre match from the mid '80s and he's doing this stuff, or when he used to get himself tied up in the ropes, and
bang.
Like a lot of that was like super innovative for a big man at the time, and the modern eye it looks kind of hokey, but it wasn't at the time, and I think that's the only really way we can kind of, because Undertaker adopted a lot of those spots 10 to 12 to 15 years later, and adapted them for a more modern thing. Undertaker used to get tied up in the ropes, and
all big men would.
Yeah, but you don't see it that much anymore.
Not Stan Hansen. Big John Studd obviously would have been
The first ever Royal Rumble winner.
King Kong Bundy, but like they're memorable people, but they're not someone that I remember growing up on watching. Bar when King Kong Bundy came back for WrestleMania 11.
Yeah, which was probably a bad idea.
Yeah, it wasn't great. No,
It
was it?
wasn't. It wasn't.
But then we get to like this generation where you're getting your natural disasters.
Yeah.
You're getting Akeem. I love Akeem. In retrospect.
Yeah, but he was actually a super worker. Like.
Yeah. Dusty Rhodes is a big man.
He is a big man.
Because we're going by, like, say, body size as well.
Now, I went, the Vault did, the WWE Vault uploaded Great American Bash tour night fucking 7 from 1986 there the other day. They used to do big tours, like 20-day tour.
Okay.
And I thought this was Great American Bash 86. I'm going to watch this. It turns out it was like night 7 of a 20-day tour.
Class.
And Dusty's in a 6-man tag in it. And it really hit me, like, a few other guys in it. But Dusty was like, I was like, Dusty looks huge in this match.
Oh, he's mad. Yeah. Like, he was actually massive.
I was like, shit, he's huge.
Yeah.
I can't remember who was in it with him, but it was like,
Barry Windham, maybe?
he was on his team, who was another big man. He was a big dude too. The guys who were wrestling against were smaller. It might have been like Johnny Valiant or someone like that. And Dusty looked huge. It was a great show, actually. It's on the Vault. I'd highly recommend it.
He could move.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, say,
talk about and
getting an
emoting to the audience.
Yeah.
Jesus
Christ. He could stand there, and someone used the point of, if you, even in his latter years, if you look at his ECW run, and there's a moment with Steve Corino where he's like building up for the big elbow, and he's just standing there, and I was like, I was told, watch that.
Place gone mental.
Yeah, and like he doesn't have to do anything. You know what I mean? And that's
also,
but like that also flies.
That's purchase. He developed that over a 30-year career.
Yeah, but that is wrestling to some people.
Yeah, I love that stuff too. Like that's what I mean.
As opposed to like punching heads off.
I know, but like what my argument with that is that it's all wrestling.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying that. Like Brett is right in what he says about chops are stupid because they hurt, but also he's wrong in that wrestling. The other stuff is deadly as well.
Wrestling can be anything,
and it should be. And I think that's something.
And it's the same argument I used to have because I loved growing up. I loved deathmatch wrestling.
Yeah,
like
you're not so much on it anymore, are you?
No, because once you see it growing up, you become desensitized to it.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot to shock you. And then before you know it, you're just watching like lads in the field cutting each other.
I know.
You know what I mean?
John Kasai and I think it was El Fantasma, or what's his name? El Desperado, had apparently an unbelievable deathmatch last week.
Yeah.
And that wasn't like that. I'm trying to find how to watch.
Like, I love death matches. Like,
I'm not a huge fan.
I love Chris Harris and James Storm because they're they're emotion. That death match,
they're emotion-driven death matches.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the way this John Kasai match was described to me is, it's a great wrestling match that happens to be a death match.
Yeah. That's
yeah. Now the whole death match thing got totally out of control, in that it's how much crazy shit can we do.
How high can we jump off stuff?
Yeah.
How many
whereas
light
like
can we
it's
go
still
through?
possible.
But like I thought back in the day, I loved me a bit of Sick Nick Mondo and a bit of Zandig.
But they also had great wrestling matches that just happened to be.
Well, Mondo had great wrestling credentials.
Yeah.
Zandig was just fucking cool.
He was just psycho, like.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
Back to the
big man.
The big man, Dusty. Like, I would change it if we're saying Dusty is the big
might
man.
be the best big man
is
ever.
The best big man. Yeah. Like, that's it. Thanks very much for watching.
Dusty Rhodes is the answer. Yeah. He's fucking unbelievable, sure. But also, like,
actually, no, Haystacks Calhoun.
Look, I don't.
Why is this obsession with big men though? Like, right?
They look fucking deadly.
Like, it is. It does harken back to the carnival.
It's the carnival shit.
Kind of freak show days.
To see a giant.
Yeah. And that's why. Like, I didn't like the Great Khali on TV, but if you've seen the Great Khali, you'd be like, "Holy fuck! What is this human?" Like, if you meet someone in Kilkenny that's 6'7", you're like, "What the fuck?"
My cousin is 6'5", and people go around like, "That guy's a fucking giant."
How's the weather up there? Hey.
Yeah. And I'm like, he's like not only, but like he's huge around here.
But like smaller wrestlers that are jacked, you still have the same visceral reaction. You're like, I cannot believe.
It's simple.
Well, not all of them.
No.
But like Dusty, like there's no comparison really. Then, like
I don't know if he counts though, because part of it is, I think a part of, if you're building criteria,
he didn't wrestle like a big man.
didn't wrestle like a big man. Yeah. It's like, is the big man thing based on dimensions or style?
But he didn't wrestle like a big man because he was able to subvert that, even though he was a big man.
But also as well, like, you think, right, he's what's his career defining fucking rivalry? Flair. Flair's way smaller, but who's the heel and who's the fucking...
Yeah.
Dusty's the babyface for 99% of
himself
that
to be the babyface for 99%.
himself to be the babyface.
I love it.
And
no one ever goes like, no one ever goes like Becky Rhodes or Charlotte Rhodes
or Mercedes Rhodes.
It's all Hogan.
It's all Hogan. Yeah, whereas like
Hogan was massive as well. Like
Hogan was like 6'7" or something, wasn't he?
Well, he says that before his
maybe he was 6'5" or something.
Before he got compressed.
Yeah, Undertaker compressed him, the best big man of all time.
You got me, brother.
Yeah, you spiked me, brother. So yeah, like, that's what I mean. Like, is it a dimension thing or is it a stylistic thing?
Yeah, I don't know. I think if we're asking ourselves if Dusty is a big man,
I think that probably opens the floodgates.
No, but we're probably ruling him out as a big... Like,
I think so.
I said this to someone today when we were talking about a topic for the radio. I was like, if we're asking, should we discuss it? Probably don't discuss it. It's the same with music. Should I play this? Is this okay for radio? Well, if I'm asking myself
when I went on the radio last week for an interview, and the host said, we were talking about Saipan, he said, we'll play the trailer. He says to me, is there cursing in it? I was like, don't know.
You probably shouldn't have played the trailer.
Yeah.
Because there was a curse in it.
It was going straight in the middle. Daytime radio. We just made eye contact as it happened.
So Bam Bam, like, once again, harping back to the people that, the colourful characters when we were young, like, he catches the eye. That
Bam Bam was special, though.
Like you hear Brett, how much reverence Brett had for him in his book. The way he could
Brett
move.
called him the best big man ever, didn't he? Or was him and Andre, I think. He loved the two of them.
The way Bam Bam could move.
But with Bam Bam, it was everything.
Bam Bam could do fucking moonsaults as well.
Moonsaults, like actual moonsaults.
Like, I know we're going Vader salt and stuff, but like, Bam Bam could moonsault too. And cartwheel.
Like, do you know what I think?
I remember playing the old, I think it was Legends of Wrestling game. You could cartwheel as Bam Bam, and I was like,
deadly.
I don't remember Bam Bam doing a cartwheel. But then I went and seen it. I was like, what? Why is this man cartwheeling around the place?
And I think as well, right? Undertaker. Obviously, this isn't about me, because this is a different category.
We're going into another Undertaker.
No, if we're talking all-time greatest wrestlers, I think Undertaker's overrated. If we're talking about all-time greatest big men, I don't think he's underrated, that category. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if Bam Bam or Vader had gotten the push that Undertaker got in the 90s, then we're probably having a very different conversation.
Yeah, but there's probably a reason, and not just Vince.
Well, yeah, the Vader reason is Shawn Michaels.
Well, also Vader was sent to a fat camp with Yokozuna and came back fatter.
Deadly. Those two lads were eating all around.
They were getting food snuck in. Like, you know, Yoko could be up there, but Yoko wouldn't.
He ballooned to 700 pounds or something.
Madness.
Yeah,
they could be their own worst enemy.
Yoko's a tragic
Bam Bam
case.
Also fell out with the clique.
But then, like, you look at Vader, like, when after that happened, he went back to Japan and went on another all-timer of a run. Like, that guy had, like, 4 different Japanese runs and plus his WCW run that are legit all 18-month to 2-year masterpieces, like.
It's a shame they get lost.
And like, the Vader one is so... to me, the Vader
Warrior was originally touted to be the original Vader.
Yeah, the mask and all, wasn't he?
Or Jim Hellwig.
Yeah. Like, to me, the Vader one is almost like a massive what-if moment. If Shawn Michaels wasn't such a little prick at that time.
Well, he would have been just in the Sid spot, though.
Yeah, but he could have I feel like he could have taken off to massive heights. And he could have stayed there 5 years into the Attitude Era, feuding with, like, we could have got, because if you look at 99 Vader in All Japan, he does some fucking unbelievable stuff, deadly matches.
We could have got Lesnar and Vader.
We could have got Lesnar and Vader. We could have got, like, a Stone Cold Vader program in 99 after WrestleMania. Like, how awesome would that, you know, like.
But then it was just smelly Vader we got before he got.
It's just the thing, shit went down with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels didn't like him. He got sidetracked.
Once again for punching him.
Once again for hitting him a dig in the head.
You mentioned Japanese
Their
wrestling.
match is deadly.
Yeah.
That Shawn Michaels Vader match is deadly, man.
You mentioned a lot of... and he missed the spot as well. He failed to get out of the way for an elbow drop.
Yeah, that's what...
Michaels landed on his feet and called him stupid.
Yeah.
You mentioned Japanese wrestling a lot. Big man Japanese wrestling, Giant Baba.
Sure, like, look, you know, if you're going all time, you'd have to put Baba and Inoki in there. He was a big man who didn't really wrestle a big man style, but...
No, he was more martial art.
Yeah,
kind of like.
but he was a big fucking
Was
dude.
Baba
like.
good? I never watched him.
Baba was very slow and methodical.
But was he actually good?
He was decent. I don't think he was great. But, like, his matches got over to a degree that you just don't see anymore.
It's because of the disparity of, like, you know, like height and stuff.
Mystique and everything, you know.
Yeah.
Like, Baba was like almost... He was almost like a fucking... Like, I don't think we really understand...
The cultural impact.
Yeah. Or, like, the level of celebrity.
Same in Mexico.
With El Santo, like...
Yeah.
We don't understand. Like, you know...
We never had that in Ireland.
We never had that. I don't think American wrestling has ever had a Baba or an El Santo. Like, not even Hogan.
San Martino?
No, nowhere near the same level of, like...
Fair.
No, nowhere
Hogan,
near it.
surely.
Nowhere near it.
Because of reverence.
Yeah,
And respect.
and like everything, and like
The American
culture.
Yeah, it was never really taken seriously.
Yeah, it was always like the carnival thing, you know. And like, yeah, Hogan broke through into the mainstream a little bit and that, but
Austin.
like El Santo was like literally one of the most famous people in the whole country. Like.
To a lot of Americans, wrestling is dumb.
Yeah, and well, Vince partially cultivated that, you know.
I'd agree with that.
But
But also,
like Vince didn't really respect wrestling.
Kevin Dunn definitely didn't.
No, and like, you know, they didn't. They thought like they looked down on their audience, a
And
little bit.
they actively sought out...
and they looked ways to get out and make themselves more legit with a football and all sorts.
Yeah, they actively... And studios and
Yeah,
bodybuilding federations, but they actively sought out the carnival sideshow people.
did,
you know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean? The big men.
yeah, and then some of the little men too.
And
The Hornswoggles and all, like they don't have, and like when people say I have an anti WWE bias, yeah, I spent most of my life watching them actively shit on the
people that you liked.
thing, the entertainment or the thing that I like, you know.
But
Wrestling is one of my favorite types of entertainment.
Yeah, but they're the reason you're watching it.
They're the reason
Without
I got
a doubt.
into it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
without a
yeah.
doubt.
Without a doubt, yeah.
So like we were growing up on Undertakers on Sid.
Sid was another great big man. Jeez.
Like Sid, I remember for years having trouble trying to follow his career trajectory because
Sid's is a fucking batshit.
it's all over the shop.
Yeah, it's batshit.
You're like, oh,
he'd
he's in
take time off to
WCW.
play a bit of rounders in the summer.
He's in WCW.
Softball or
Oh,
whatever.
there he is at WrestleMania 8. Oh, he's gone now. He's back in WCW. Oh, wait, no, he's back now in WWE. Oh, no, he's back in WCW. Oh, there's his leg broke. And then that's it.
I think Sid is just very much a, like, what would you call it? Like, he was one of these guys who, I'm really good at this, but it's just a job.
Yeah.
And I have other shit that I like to do.
Lesnar.
Like Lesnar, yeah.
I loved Sid growing up. I thought he was
Sid,
badass.
in terms of, like,
I love
again,
the way
that,
even
that,
on his arm pad,
that type of
like he had a
charisma.
little like happy face,
Yeah.
like a yellow happy face, and that used to always throw me.
he had a really unique charisma, Sid, didn't he?
Yeah, in the sweaty
And like his promo style is just so funny, and like, yeah, Sid is just deadly. Like,
Sid was awesome. Kevin Nash obviously was a big man in that time as Diesel.
like Kevin Nash, in fairness, had a good run. Like, you can't discount how impactful his run was. Yeah, the Diesel run obviously didn't take off, and it never really got fully over. But like the Outsider stuff, talk about getting over. Like, that's fucking one of the most over acts in the history of the business.
Yeah,
Or certainly,
and it was enjoyable.
Very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
Scott Hall isn't a fucking small man either.
No, Scott Hall is 7 or 8 or something as well.
Nuts. John Tenta, you mentioned.
Yeah, like John Tenta, I think is
I loved him as Golga,
like, he's a really
Giant Silva and Kurgan.
yeah, like, he's a really good worker, John Tenta. And like the funny thing about John Tenta is, like,
He was so young.
he's so young and he looked so
Ridiculous.
old. When I saw what age he was in a picture, I was like, that's impossible. I thought he was 50. He was like 25.
So young.
But the funny thing about John Tenta is, for a guy who never really did any top runs anywhere, really, you know, he'd done some main events here and there, but he's very memorable. Like, everyone
He's memorable as Earthquake, not as much as Shark
Not at all a Shark.
or Avalanche.
Avalanche is kind of memorable too.
Like that.
Not Earthquake
That's during that
memorable.
shitty Dungeon of Doom phase.
It's
But
still
then,
memorable.
I loved him as Golga.
Golga,
Like,
yeah.
I really like that. I didn't know that was him for years.
And he had some stuff in Japan that's memorable too. Like he's had it, like for a guy who never got like
proper fucking
big
sumo
push.
wrestler as well.
Yeah.
Talking about Japan, there's a great clip of the great Antonio against Antonio Inoki.
Yeah.
Where Inoki kicks the fuck out of him in the face.
He actually beats them.
If you go check that out, the great Antonio, he is meant to be an absolute Lubon from Canada.
Yeah.
And
He legit.
he no-sells Inoki.
And Inoki says, "Well, fuck you then."
I'm kicking you in the fucking face.
He broke his face and shit. Like he actually like legit hurt him. It's an incredible video.
Speaking of, you love it. Speaking of Dungeon of Doom, they had some characters.
Great characters.
Kamala.
Yeah. There's another great big man.
But like, are they great big men because we were young?
Yeah, but like Kamala was again another guy who, when I was a kid, scared the shit out of me. But also a guy who got like landed with a super limited gimmick.
Do you think it was limited? Like there was no growing from it.
What can you do
It's like Eugene.
Yeah.
Like
what do you do?
Like
out of that?
he's getting in. Like a lot of people are quite up in arms over.
He's still doing the gimmick. In
He's still doing the
2025.
gimmick.
And that Rev Pro booked the gimmick in 2025.
It's
But
mad.
like from his perspective, where the fuck do you go from there?
I always thought to get rid of that gimmick, because Nick Dinsmore was quite regarded as a wrestler. He was the OVW champion, all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry for getting off topic with Big Ben, but I always thought ECW One Night Stand 2006 is when Nick Dinsmore or Eugene comes out, because he comes out in that card.
Yeah.
And Sandman canes the fuck out of him. But Eugene comes out, but Nick Dinsmore leaves.
Brilliant.
He's like, I'm not doing this fucking shit anymore. Now you have a new...
And now I'm in ECW.
Yeah, I'm a fucking wrestler. I'm not doing this bullshit anymore.
You could do a shoot. A shoot promo.
It's a shoot promo, and
You forced me to do this shit.
you have all these fucking fans on your side. Then immediately, because you're shitting on WWE, you have a new character for the TV show that you're just about to start. But no, they did that with Sandman. Then Sandman came the fucking zombie the next. Like you're just like,
It was on Sci-Fi and they needed zombies in ECW.
fucking wrestling with the match. Remember the Yeti, Ron Reese,
Fucking Yeti.
the Yeti. Why was he a Yeti? He was dressed like a mummy.
Yeah, it made no sense whatsoever. Big Show. We haven't spoken about Big Show. I want to talk about. I think. Do you know what's a super underrated match that tells you
Any match with Sheamus.
how great the Big Show is?
Wow.
The Floyd Mayweather match.
Oh, fucking fantastic.
That was
WrestleMania
Big Show,
24.
man. That was Big Show's crowning achievement as a professional wrestler.
Great match.
Fucking great match.
And like Mayweather so small in comparison.
Yeah, but it was done so
The
well.
angle was fantastic.
Everything. Yeah.
Like even when he picked him up and threw him out then a few nights on Raw.
That it was
But like
tremendous. The whole thing was a great piece of business.
I think they fucked him from the start though.
They did fuck him from the start.
Like, even
from
the way-
night one.
Night one.
Literally his first action. His second action. Because his first action was so badass. Coming up through the ring.
And then throwing Austin through the cage, which I get it. Is your way out. It's an inventive finish, but you just made him look like a dumbass.
Yeah.
But he had won the title by like that Survivor Series because Austin got run over by a car. He won a 5-on-1 Survivor Series match. In that same card.
Like they pushed him well, but also
Then sent to OVW for being too fat.
OVW for being too fat, and then he came back and he did some good stuff. But
he did some impersonation gimmicks.
But I mean, like they chopped and changed his gimmick so often. They put him into comedy and took him out of comedy, and then expected him to be treated seriously. They did more face turns and heel turns than any wrestler in the history of the fucking business.
Same with Kane. It's the same with Kane. But like,
how do you like? That's so hard to rehab that character and image and aura. Yeah. You can't rehab that after that much shit.
Yeah. So I think in WCW though they did a lot to.
His WCW run is
but to get away from that aura, I think. You know, they had him smoking cigarettes. He had him in the NWO and all that kind of stuff. They just had him as a strong stoic type. But like, in fairness, he's a charismatic individual.
He's very
funny.
He is funny.
He does some funny.
I
funny
think
shit.
one of the worst things that could happen to you in Vince's reign over WWE is that he found out that you're funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think that was the disadvantage to Kurt Angle?
Well, I think Kurt Angle is a unicorn.
Edge and Christian?
It hurt Christian. He wasn't treated seriously all the time because he was funny.
Well, not because he was funny, because
he just wasn't.
he just didn't like him.
Yeah. I think like Kurt Angle's a unicorn. Like, people come along and they argue under the Omega one, Kurt Angle's the best in-ring wrestler of all time. Kurt Angle is fucking unbelievable. There's no doubt about it.
Kurt Angle, I said my top 3 is Kurt Angle, Mick Foley, and Kevin Owens.
Yeah, 3 great picks. Mine, I'd have entirely different 3, but like, maybe Mick Foley would be.
Kevin Owens a big man?
No.
Any big man about now? Well, like, we never really discussed Kane. Kane's had an all-timer run, in fairness.
I never liked Kane.
I loved Kane when he came.
Yeah.
When he initially came, as a young lad, once again, colours, enthralled, mad. Kind of, they're trying to humanize him. They give him the voice box. They take away the voice box with X-Pac. They're he's meandering.
Again,
but 03 Kane, when he takes the fucking mask off,
he had a great run for.
That was fucking amazing.
And
Shane, like electrocuting Shane O'Mac's testicles, fucking up RVD at the SummerSlam, but he was built up just so he could lose to the Undertaker
again
at WrestleMania 20
again,
and that's my problem.
Yeah, like Kane never, and look, I was never a fan of his work, anyway, but he was a guy who just wasn't helped by his creative direction ever.
Yeah, because then like they always lumped him in with dumb shit.
Yeah.
Obviously, Katie Vick came before that. But like the whole Edge and Gene Snitsky thing and
the X-Pac thing. When he teamed with X-Pac and then X-Pac turned on him.
Oh, yeah, Tori Wilson and all that. Or Tori. There was another Tori.
Yeah, just Tori.
Yeah. But like after the fact with all the Edge stuff, and then they sent him to ECW.
Yeah, and then Corporate Kane. Like, it's... Again, it's another one who...
I didn't mind Corporate Kane. I hated the Authority, but I didn't mind Corporate Kane.
Sorry, I was talking about the Authority.
They were trying something different.
Yeah. No, I conflated the two in my head. It's the Authority Kane is just utter dog shit. Like.
Well, that is Corporate Kane.
So what was Corporate Kane?
Corporate Kane was Authority Kane.
Yeah,
he was in the Authority.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that.
Oh no, I hated that.
It was a bit, but I didn't like when how he lost the mask, and I discussed this in the Bray Wyatt documentary. It's Stephanie McMahon has the mask, is to give it to her, where he's just been taken away by the Wyatt family. So I don't know. Brody Lee,
deadly big man. Actually, that's a good show.
I loved him and Rowan.
You loved him, what?
And Rowan.
They were deadly.
Yeah,
the Bludgeon Brothers were class.
I love the Wyatt family.
Yeah, you were a big Wyatt family guy. Bludgeon Brothers were cool as well when they broke away from the Wyatt family for that time. And his
AEW... the Hammers, I think.
The Hammers was overkill. Yeah. The name was awful. The Bludgeon Brothers. Fucking deadly name. And then his feud with Cody in AEW is, like, legit excellent, like, you know? Just the way he beat Cody the first time, and then the chain match, like fucking. I just wish he had a crowd. You know, that's the height of pandemic wrestling. Great big man, great.
Umaga.
He's a guy that I find hard to classify as a big man, even though he kind of is a big man.
He's a fucking huge man. What are you on about?
But his style, again, it's stylistic. Like, you know, like
I loved Umaga.
He didn't wrestle like a big man.
I remember when they were bringing in Umaga.
Gave John Cena his best ever match.
Yeah, Royal Rumble 2007.
I think that might be seen as best match.
Last man standing. But I remember when they're bringing in Umaga, and I was like Marky. I was like,
what a crap gimmick.
Oh, they're fucking making him a savage, a Samoan bulldozer. What kind of name is that? You had the Samoan submission machine over in TNA, fucking
Samoa Joe.
Like,
but then you're 2 months into Omega, you're like, this guy's fucking deadly.
Here's Armando Alejandro Estrada. You know it's Jamal. But you don't give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck, no.
Oh, I loved me a bit of Omega.
He had a really good run there for a while.
And speaking of the small, like a lot of somewhat like Kishi is a big man.
Yeah. But again, a guy who is more known for sticking his arse in your face. It's Vince shit. You found out he was funny.
Yeah, I suppose.
I think I'm going to go with Vader for my pick.
Do you think so?
I think so, yeah. Again, that's my stylistic preference. His style of wrestling is the style that I most enjoy. And I'm not a wrestler.
Not going to go with Khali, no?
I don't care if he punches people in the face.
Yeah, that's true. You're not going to go with Greg Khali?
No, I won't go Khali. I won't also go with Giant Gonzalez. Big Cass. Big William Morrissey.
I like Big Cass.
He's a good wrestler.
Yeah, I like it. I love his story. I think he should be a face. I think he could be a face,
should be a face,
I think he could be a fucking massive star.
It's really hard to book a 7 foot guy as a face.
It's
Unfortunately,
not though. Like his story about his alcoholism and
insane. And he's
he needs to get back to the Fed, man.
Yeah,
because they were booking him when he wasn't even in the same shape that he is now.
I know. Yeah, and I think like you look at this.
Satnam Singh, is he one of your faves?
No. I think we've like they gave him 2 Bryan Danielson matches.
Yeah, Satnam Singh.
Yeah, to see. Right, well, let's see where this guy's at. Can Danielson carry him to a 4-star match?
Can he get Tom McGee?
Can he get Tom McGee? And like Danielson, my pick for greatest in-ring wrestler ever, could get him to about 3.5. You couldn't get him to 4. So
stars.
Yeah, like if I was renting, like
out of 5 or 10,
out of whatever I want to say it is on that.
Yeah, but let me say what it is. Out of 4.
Might want to be out of 5.
Okay, so 5, 3 out, 3.5.
3, maybe 3. So no, Satnam Singh. I actually enjoy Satnam Singh's personality. But yeah, like I look at the likes of Big Bill and Satnam Singh, and I'm like, the way AEW has developed stylistically over the last 12 months, they don't really fit into that.
But you always need someone like you need a big man.
But again, with Big Bill, someone like him, probably you could use him as an attraction rather than a week to week. It might suit him better.
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Like, because he's too overexposed as what he is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I mean, if WWE were to bring him back, you bring him back as an attraction and not.
Bring him back with Enzo to fuck.
No, don't do that.
The real ones.
Don't do that.
Any other big men?
We're probably forgetting loads. Like
100%. Plus, I need to get my head chopped for a bit of
commentary tomorrow. I like Bam Bam. My 3 are
Yoko. Like we fucking barely discussed Yoko.
We kind of My 3. I think my 3 favorites. I'm not going to say best because you would clickbait me. The 3, actually, I'll set it up for some clickbait. The 3 best big men in the history of professional wrestling: Andre the Giant, Vader, Bam Bam Bigelow. I'll give an honourable mention to the Undertaker.
You sure you want to give an honourable mention to the Undertaker?
That's the best he can get off me, is an honourable mention.
He's like the best big man ever.
He's the 4th best after.
Like, I love watching Terry Gordy. I love watching Umaga. I love watching big men in general. That sounds weird.
Look, Undertaker's good. Like, he's really good. He's the 4th best big man of all time.
Andre is the best, though, to you.
Well, that they're in no particular order. If I was going best, Vader, Andre, Bam Bam.
Okay. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. Not just what he said. Like, we've definitely left out people.
I've 100% left
Big
out.
Daddy, Giant Haystacks. I'm just saying big guys now.
Yeah.
Bastion Booger.
I had a busy day in work today, and I ended up not having time to do my normal research.
I'm very busy today. I have to go home and tan and everything.
You have to tan. You have to get the hair cut.
Yeah. Went for a run. Went to the gym today. I did my fucking...
Got your pump on.
You're
bringing a few... Are you bringing a few... what are them bands? Those the last bands get a bit of a pump on beforehand tomorrow.
Before commentary.
Yeah. You want to be...
I'll do some vocal warm-ups.
Yeah, but no, don't the commentators know TT starting the ring?
You never know what could happen then.
Yeah. Get your pump on in the ring. You know, you want to be in the ring. Are you wearing a suit kind of thing for commentary?
No, I'm not. I'm wearing some wrestling, so merch.
Nice.
Yeah. What is that? That's the Hardy Boys.
I'm going to get a pump on to sit in the crowd.
Nakamura. That's Nakamura.
I'm going to get a pump on to sit in the crowd. Like,
yeah,
I want to take up 2 seats.
Nice, big man.
Like
a big man. I'm going to sit a big for the sign off. Let us know in the comment. Bradshaw.
Oh, we forgot one. Bradshaw.
I fucking love
you.
JBL.
Love Bradshaw, yeah.
Oh.
And he has reposted our video before.
Yeah, which got taken down because of copyright. And then Slaz like, I'm working on it. He hasn't sent it over. It's been October.
Was it that long ago? I do remember the day we were down here going through it. It was freezing.
Yeah.
It was winter.
It was fun. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Let us know who we missed out on. Let us know on... if you disagree with anything that we said. We've definitely missed out on some big guys.
We just rambled there for the last 20 minutes.
It's been fun. We've been the Wrestling Fan Wrestling Show. I'm the Big Beefy Boy. He's been my fellow old buck in Morro. Oh, an extra big one for the big boys. Thanks very much for listening. Like, subscribe, all that jazz, and we will talk to you next week. What are we going to talk about?
I don't know.
Good luck. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Good luck.